Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Drake. Today we'll be going over the subquery. The subquery is used to reference data and to store it as a value to be used later in other queries. For example, let's say we wanted to know the max number of receptions from our table below. We can easily see that the max number is 121. However, if our table was thousands or even millions of entries long, it might be a little bit difficult. Using the subquery is very simple. We'll just write 3 lines here. First we'll write select, and then we'll say max receptions, receptions referring to the column receptions, and we're going to save that value as max receptions. And then the final line will be from football. So we'll run these 3 lines of code, and we'll see it returns the maximum receptions as 121. Having the max number of receptions is really good, but we can also use the subquery as a variable itself in another query. So what I mean by this is, let's go ahead and put our subquery into parentheses, and we're just going to go ahead and name it subquery for simplicity. Then let's say we want to know the football player's name that goes with that max number of receptions, that football player being Michael. So we'll say select football.player. We'll be selecting from the player column. We'll then say from our subquery that we named subquery. We'll say join to the football table, and we'll be joining on, we'll be looking for where subquery max receptions, so 121 receptions, equals on the football table column receptions equals 121. And where we get that join, where we get those receptions that equal each other, we'll return that football player's name. And there we see it is Michael. Alright guys, the next topic we're looking into, by the way my name is Drake, the next topic we're going to look into is the temp table. The temp table is a way to create tables outside the tables you already imported into SQL. So let's take a look. We have our 2 tables that we've already imported. We have number of receptions and number of carries. Let's say we want to create a table from these 2 tables that existed within SQL, and we want to know the number of times a player touched the ball. So to do that, we are going to say select from football receptions, select from carry, number of carries, and we're going to want the player's name as well, so we'll say football.player. We are going to make a new column, so we'll say football.receptions plus carry.carries, and we'll save that as total touches. We are going to save this new table into a table called hashtag touches. The hashtag is just for SQL to know that this is a temp table. We'll then say from football join carry. We're joining the 2 tables, and we're going to join on player name. We'll go ahead and execute the code, and we'll see that it successfully runs. In order to see our new table, we'll just say select asterisk, which is the wildcard symbol. It just means take all. So select asterisk from hashtag touches. Hashtag again meaning it's a temp table, letting SQL know that this is the temp table touches. And we'll run the code, and there we'll see the number of receptions, carries, player name, as well as the total time that player has touched the ball. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Drake. The next thing we're going to look at is the CTE. The CTE stands for the Common Table Expression. This combines the temp table and the subquery we just learned about. I think that this is much simpler than what we were doing earlier, and you're going to see how see why in just a second. So to make a CTE, we're going to write the command with, and then we'll name the table. So we'll call it football CTE, and this table is going to have the columns player name and total number of touches. The next command is as, so we got to populate the table now. We'll create a subquery, and we'll say select player name from football, as well as the number of receptions and carries from our two tables. We'll name this column total touches. We're going to pull from the table football and join it with carry, and we're going to join these two tables on the player name. And with that, we'll have the CTE, and you'll see what we can do with it. Alright, so let's go back to the original problem of finding the player with the most receptions. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to write select, and then we'll come up with a nickname for our CTE table. We'll just say CTE, and we're going to want the player name, so we'll say CTE underscore 1.player. We'll say from the CTE table, CTE1, so referencing the CTE table we just made, plus that nickname. We're going to join on the max number of total touches from the CTE table. And once we're done with that, we're going to name it CTE2 will be the name. And we're going to join on total touches where CTE2 equals max touches. So both CTE tables, we're looking for those max number of touches, and we're going to return that player's name. And we can see it's Michael.